Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's MMA Cycles Market Update. This is your host, Gianni DePoce. It's Friday again, so it's time to review what happened in the markets this past week. It was yet another turbulent week. We had CPI numbers come in above expectations, which led to a sharp short covering rally on Thursday. Thus far on Friday, we're seeing some of those gains erased, but no shortage of astrological signatures this past week and for the forthcoming week. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we could take a look at a chart of the Dow and talk about the various signatures that unfolded this past week. We started off with Mercury ingressing into the sign of Libra on Monday the 10th, followed by a trine between the Sun and Saturn. Mars then squared Neptune on the 12th of October, and then Venus trined Saturn on the 14th. But I think the price action in the last couple of days, especially in equities, is representative of the moon in Gemini. So since we're in Libra season right now, we have a double air combination. That is, the sun is in an air sign and the moon is in an air sign. So we have sun and moon in air signs. And this leads to high volatility. And we see that unfolded. And the trading range of the last 2 days was about 6%. So from Thursday's low to Friday's high, that was a 6% move. So no shortage of volatility there. I want to take a look at the NASDAQ here because the NASDAQ actually underperformed on Thursday's rally, which is a bit of a risk off signal. And then on Friday here, it is leading the market lower. So definitely not out of the woods yet, but we could even close in positive territory on the week. That remains to be seen. We have a few hours left in the trading week. So looking at the week ahead, we have a trine aspect between the Sun and Mars set to unfold on the 17th, followed by Venus trine Mars on the 18th. Then we have a square between the Sun and Pluto and Venus and Pluto on the 19th and 20th. Then we finally have the conjunction between the Sun and Venus, which have been very close together in the last few weeks in that Cazimi formation. And then we have Saturn going direct on the 23rd of October, the same day that Scorpio season begins, and Venus ingresses into Scorpio as well. So in other words, no shortage of signatures for potential reversals. With all this geocosmic activity, have to stay on our toes for volatility. Expectations for a Fed rate hike, I should say a more aggressive rate hike, increased on after Thursday's CPI print. And I think that really says a lot about the state of the economy right now because, we've seen so many commodity markets come down from their highs earlier this year. Let's go ahead and look at USO, the crude oil ETF. We see that the high in this was in June. Spot crude oil actually made its high in March. But the fact that CPI is still printing positive numbers, as we've seen several commodity markets, correct north of 30% from their highs, I think really speaks to the macroeconomic environment in which we are operating at the moment. So crude oil had a nice pop on Thursday, but giving it back on Friday thus far could be set to go out near the lows of the week. Want to take a look at gold miners. And so USO and GDX are actually ETFs that we track in the MMA ETF report, which is set to be released next week. So definitely stay tuned for that. But gold and gold miners have not liked this rising interest rate environment because why would investors buy gold, which pays nothing, when they can buy bonds that at least pay something despite interest rates going up? So gold still facing some headwinds. Want to take a look at TLT, another ETF covered in the MMA ETF report, set to go out at the lows of the week. And I think in some ways this might be a welcome development. Because, with the Fed set to raise interest rates, we want to see long-term rates continuing to rise simultaneously with short-term rates. There's been a lot of talk about that yield curve inversion. We've actually not seen a yield curve inversion at all in this entire cycle between the 3-month and the 10-year Treasury note. And that's something that we talk about in the MMA cycles report in the T-note analysis section. That actually was just published this past week on Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to know what MMA's outlook is on stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities, that is the report for you. So that's what's happening in bond lands. Take a look at the US dollar, which continues to behave as a global wrecking ball. Obviously, this is not reflective of Friday's price action. You're seeing a little bit of a rally, but the potential of a secondary lower high forming here in the dollar might actually be what bulls for equities need to see before a more sustained rally can take hold. Until then, it's probably going to be continue being a turbulent market environment. Want to take a look at what happened in cryptocurrencies, because we had a wide trading range in the last couple of days. Especially, it's more pertinent to Ethereum, but the tendency for high periods of volatility when Venus is in Libra is elevated in the crypto market. So we had that in effect until the 23rd of October. So right around that time when we have Saturn going direct and the Sun and Venus ingressing into Scorpio the same day, we should see even more volatility in crypto until that time, according to our studies. So that actually takes care of what I wanted to review with you this week. So thank you so much for watching. Again, we just published our monthly MMA cycles report this past week. So check that out at www.mmacycles.com. And next week, we will have the monthly MMA ETF report set to be released. So we have some great discounts and specials right now as we are in forecast season. So stay tuned for that. We have our forecast book that's being written right now. Ray is working on that. And I, along with other MMA analysts, will begin our analyses shortly for the upcoming year. So check it out now. You can bundle some great deals with our other report subscription. So don't miss that. Great time to save and find tremendous value in our report. So thanks again for watching. We will see you next week after perhaps another eventful week. So have a great weekend. Thank you.